Hello students, welcome to Legacy AI Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about a recent issue that has emerged about China spying on India and other countries of Europe as well as Asia. So basically, very recently, we have observed a massive data leak from a Chinese cybersecurity agency whose targets include India, eminent personalities of India, as well as overall general public of India as well. So let us try to understand this in the broader context of the cybersecurity of India. Now, recently, large amount of data from a Chinese company, server company, that has leaked online, and what this data basically shows is that this particular private company was awarded contract by the Chinese government regarding the collection of important digital information. Now, very interestingly, not only outside of the China, but also within the Chinese border itself. iSoon, that is the name of this particular company, which is based in the Shanghai, which is referred as the financial center or financial capital of China, is believed to be one of the many private contractors that help the government of China or Chinese state, we can say, to conduct its intelligence gathering, hacking, as well as other kind of surveillance activities. If we go into more details of this particular issue, what we see here is the data leak. Now, if you look at what kind of data was leaked, so first of all, the types of data that has leaked is ranging all the way from text documents such as emails, then we have images, even conversations between different group of people, as well as a trove of documents we have observed here. Now, what do these data contain? So obviously these data do not contain the actual information that was secured by this company or that might have been transferred to the government of China. Rather, this information contains data about the targets of the surveillance, who was a target, and also the contracts, what kind of contracts were awarded by the Chinese government to the iSoon. Third, detailed contracts to extract foreign data over 8 years period. Now, this is not something what we can say is kind of temporary phenomena or short-term phenomena. This process has been going on for almost 8 years. And if you think closely, you can understand that in last 8 years, if China has been continuously spying on India and other countries, the kind of data and the intel they might have gathered. So over 8 years, and also describe the targets within at least not 1, 2 or 3 foreign governments, but 20 foreign governments as well as territories. In this context, if you look at the example, 95.2 gigabytes of immigration data alone has been collected from India, and 3 terabytes of call logs, that kind of data has been collected from the South Korea's LG U+ telecom provider. Now, if you look at the major countries that were targeted by China to gather the data, unauthorized data basically, is obviously first number we have India. Then the Chinese also get the data from the Hong Kong, which is a special administrative region of China. Then the data has been gathered from the government of Malaysia. Then we have Thailand, South Korea, and also Taiwan, which China claims to be its own territory, while Taiwan claims itself to be the sole representative of the people of China. Now, in this regard, if you look at the data collection, as we have discussed briefly before, that not only the outside of China's border, but even within the Chinese border itself, the data has been collected. And specifically, if you look at the data, read the data, what we find is that within China, the targets seem to include such ethnicities and dissidents in part of China that have seen significant anti-government protest. And obviously, if you look at the last 5 to 8 years interval, 2 areas come into mind. First, obviously, is the Hong Kong, where in year 2019, we have massive protest against the Chinese government that was undertaken by the people, local public. And the second is Muslim populated region of China, situated in the western part of China, which is called as Xinjiang Autonomous Region. So Xinjiang and Hong Kong has been two major territories which were largely targeted by China to collect the data. Now, where did the leaked data came from? If you look at the observation, if you look at the statement given by the chief threat analyst of Google's cybersecurity division, he clearly has stated that the source of leak could be a rival intelligence service, a dissatisfied insider who might be working for the Chinese government or might be working for iSoon company itself, or even a rival contractor. So we do not have 100% certainty that who has leaked this particular data. Obviously, iSoon, the internal officers of the iSoon, as well as the Chinese police officers, are conducting an investigation about the particular data leak. Now, iSoon's sponsors are likely to be China's Ministry of State Security, MSS, which is similar to India's what we can call as RAW, Research and Analysis Wing, and which is a state intelligence and security agencies, and also the Chinese military, which is popularly referred as People's Liberation Army of China, that is People's Liberation Army and People's Liberation Army Navy and People's Liberation Army Air Force. So these two are considered to be the main, what we can call as the sponsor of the ISOON's data gathering operations or surveillance operations. Now, especially if we talk about this in terms of the cyber intelligence technique of China, what this data tells us that the information that has been accessed by the ISOON has been accessed by using several kind of hacking tools. These hacking tools were used to find the identities on social media platforms such as X, formerly known as Twitter, and to access emails and hide the online activity of the overseas agents. Not only that, many social media platforms such as Facebook and even Google is banned in China. However, accessing foreign social India website by the Chinese government is one way of monitoring, also the monitoring as well as the targeting both the foreign citizens as well as the Chinese dissidents who might be working outside of China. And also it helps them in spreading pro-China information, pro-China propaganda we can say, to global audiences through the user posts. Now, what we can make observation, one observation that we can make about this is that ISOON had the capabilities to even hack X accounts, that is former Twitter accounts. And this even when the Twitter you have the two-factor authentication facilities process such as password in addition to OTP verification. Despite that, they were able to hack the X accounts. Second, devices resembling batteries had been used by the company to attack Wi-Fi networks all across the world. Third, hacking of airline, cellular, as well as government data has been observed from such countries like Mongolia, Malaysia, Afghanistan, and Thailand. That means the theft of data or unauthorized access to data is not restricted to any one particular sector such as defense or military. Rather, it is wide-ranging collection of data basically used by China to understand a broad spectrum policy of the foreign countries. In this regard, if we pay close attention to India, it is not the first time that Chinese have what we can say targeted India. First, in 2018 itself, a data breach was recorded in the Employee Provident Fund Organization system, which contained the personal data of Indians and was repackaged by Chinese Cyber Agency according to the preliminary investigation done by the Nodal Agency for Cyber Security India, that is CERT-IN, Computer Emergency Response Team of India. Then further in 2020, a company based in the city of Shenzhen, which is in southern part of China, coastal part of China, with links to the Chinese government, was monitoring over 10,000 Indian individuals and organizations that were part of global database of foreign targets. Now, when you talk about foreign targets, these are not some small companies, these are not some small diplomats, but rather if you look at the targets in India specifically, we have Prime Minister Modi, he was a target of the data hack. Then we have that time Chief Justice of Supreme Court. Then we have late ex-Army General Bipin Rawat. Then we have former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. Then we have Sonia Gandhi, that is leader of opposition, as well as the then President of India, Ram Nath Kovind, was also the target of this particular data theft or data breach. So every country does this. Now, if you talk about the US response to this particular revelation, US experts have cited that this is something that is not unique, not novel. Every country does this in one way or other. That's the job of the Foreign Intelligence Agency. But what makes this Chinese step or Chinese action different is the use of big data, science and technology. And thus, by combining these in overall intelligence gathering of their external, what you can say, security agency, Beijing has clearly taken it to the next level. And that is something that seems to be threatening. Now, if you talk about what can be done here, what India has basically done. So obviously, India has banned almost 224 Chinese apps, including major apps such as Camera Scanner, TikTok, and PUBG, which were allegedly transferring the data from the Indian, Indian information space system to the Chinese cyberspace system. Second, we talk about the government. Experts believe that government must educate citizens on the cyber hygiene. Third, a stricter level of hygiene for those in important positions should be ensured, especially from a security point of view, especially those personals who are in the higher levels of the government, or those people who are working for the military or space agencies or DRDO, Department of Space, Atomic Energy and all that. So obviously for them, a higher level of hygiene should be maintained in the cyberspace. Third, with the mobile phones, that has become a kind of universal device today, and it has a lot of data collection ability. and storing almost all the information, personal information of people who are using it, there is a need for the key individuals to have a kind of cautious approach about sharing of personal information on social media, or allowing even platforms to track their geolocation and all these kind of things. And last, we need to build capabilities, we need to build capacity to preempt any kind of disinformation and propaganda campaign that might be aimed at the Indian audience from the Chinese side. Given the bewildering pace of change that we are seeing in the cybersecurity, obviously the new battle lines are being drawn, that is not in the physical space, that is not over land, that is not over air, that is not in the sea, but rather it is an individual space that we call as the cyberspace. So that is all about this particular video. I hope you understood about the reason and the rationale behind the targeting by Chinese companies, even Chinese government indirectly, to the India and India's officials. So that is all for this particular video. Thank you very much.